Hello, I'm Georgie Coleridge Cole, SheerLuxe's founder and CEO, and welcome to today's SheerLuxe Middle East in Conversation With podcast. I am quite literally buzzing to be sitting here with Ruth. It's Bradley, not Bradshaw,
yes.
But freaking hell, I mean, you could be a cousin, a twin.
Totally.
I mean, of the wonderful
It's
Carrie. You've got the magic.
Bradley, Bradders,
okay,
any of the above.
We need to get Ruth to kind of recreate that, running across the street, but in AlSerkal in a pink tutu. That would be fantastic. I think we need to do
I'm
that.
not in my heels phase anymore. That was definitely in my 20s.
You can put your own twist on it.
Rumana Nazim, equally as fabulous and inspiring, founder of The Edit, also based in AlSerkal. These two are neighbours.
We're neighbours.
I've got real FOMO.
I don't see enough of her. She travels too much.
I'm never here. I've been here for a month though.
The Edit is a wonderful, wonderful concept store with a phenomenal edit, sustainability at the heart. If you haven't been, go and check it out. Our team they were in there for blimmin' hours. I was like, where the hell are you? They're like, we're still in the edit. Anyway, ladies, thank you for joining me today. We've got so many to talk about. What did you have for breakfast? That was my icebreaker. I'm interested.
I don't eat breakfast. I had a green tea. I had like 3 mugs of green tea.
Jesus. When did you last eat then?
Well, last night. What time did I eat? I think about 7, 8. I mean, I'm not intermittent fasting. I just don't have breakfast. Not a big breakfast person.
Well, I am. I
I'm
just
a
had banana. They called it banana bread. He said I get toasted. I was like, can we be clear? This is a piece of cake.
But you know what it is? It's like when everyone went through that phase during COVID. I went through this phase of baking banana bread.
I made sourdough. Sourdough.
I made banana bread, and then I realized there's no such thing as banana bread. It's all cake.
Well, I had a lovely breakfast. I went to Surf House on the beach.
Is this a nice place in Dubai?
Yeah, it's really great. It's where my daughter works as a surf coach, and it's just lovely. It's where people rent out surfboards. It's right next to the sea.
Which bit of the city?
It's straight across the highway from here, so it's near the Burj Al Arab. It's right next to Surf Beach, so it's the main surf spot because that's where all the surfers go on Surf Beach. The only main place you can surf in Dubai. Otherwise, you'd have to go for Fujairah or Oman. And they have a lovely cafe there, and we did a farewell breakfast for my daughter.
Well, I'm just saying I am a huge crier. When other people cry, I cry, and I might look like a tough whatever, but I'm actually quite softy. So Ruth is digging deep.
Today is going to be a tough day, yes.
So I just had my son's American, his brother is married to an American, just had her and her 2 friends from college, they're from Ole Miss in the south, staying with me in London, and his niece is 18, 19. I was like, Jesus. The idea of Coco in 5 years, going to the other side
I
of the
think
world.
the distance is worrying me a bit.
Yeah,
it's
and
obviously very far.
God, it's going to be Coco. And she was like, I know it's really sad, but it's also amazing to see them spread their wings and become their own people. And I was like, oh, that's such a lovely way.
Yeah, and she's already done that to a certain extent because she left home
trying
at
to
15.
make you feel better.
She's like, no, the wings haven't spread.
She went to the UK when she was 15 to go to college to study marine biology. So she's already done that. What worries me now is that education is very different to just basically being on a jolly. She's incredible.
She's
a
your
go-getter.
world, and she'll come back to you.
Yeah, so today's going to be a tough day. I'll hold it together. I'll be strong.
Dig deep. Can we just do a quick what you're wearing? Because, I mean, I'm like, the jewellery, the gold, the silver. My team were talking to me about these bracelets.
I want to go to the Edit and buy these bracelets.
So do I.
They're
together.
amazing.
So this is one of my favorite jewelry brands called Misho, and the founder, Suhani, she's amazing. She's become a really good friend. She's based in London. I should actually connect you guys. The brand is fully sustainable, so it's gold plated. And she just does really cool, unique pieces that are like minimal, but they've got like quite a bit of a, an impact. I've been exploring mixing metals as well.
Oh my God. For listeners, not viewers, that's...
Aren't they lovely? But I like how she mixes the two together.
Oh my Lord. I love that I'm mid-podcast.
Is she exclusive to you in Dubai?
In Dubai, yes. Yeah. And her price point is amazing. It's really accessible price points.
Oh,
so God, I love her stuff.
Yeah, these are lovely.
And those rings, are they her too?
Yeah, they're all, everything I'm wearing is Misho.
Oh. So what sort of price are these bracelets?
I'm not sure what the exact price, but I think they're around the 1,000 dirham mark.
So that's about £200.
Yeah, £200.
Sorry. Wow, they are. Oh my God, I might just have to swing by the edit.
Actually, this is also from the edit. This is two sisters from London the brand's called Usisi Sisters. I think they grew up maybe in Africa, but they are English and they're based between other places in London. And again, a fully sustainable brand, but they do these like incredibly, very chic and elegant styles, but in slightly different, with slightly different elements.
Can we just have a quick moment for your nails, because we always get asked this. So let's put it out there so that we don't have to answer these questions on your behalf. What color are you wearing, and what is it?
It's a crimson red. I think it's called.
They're looking for a brand and they're looking for a name.
Okay, so these are gelish, and I believe the color is called Bloodline.
Excellent.
At tips and toes.
Wonderful. Brilliant.
If you can't find it, look for couture.
Okay. Can we also have the lip, please?
We need the lip.
This is the stuff we get when we put out a podcast in the UK. People are like,
Okay,
Georgie, nail colour, please. Nail colour.
NARS. I don't know the color, but it's in my bag.
Is it the liquid matte?
The liquid matte.
I'm obsessed with it.
Can we do shirt? Like, you're
I wore
actually
vintage today.
hit us with purple when we walked
I did.
in, which you can't really see now, which is a shame.
No.
Yeah, I think we need.
I'm actually wearing a vintage Jasper Conran suit.
Are you?
Yes. But I've paired it. It's a lovely little jacket, which is very thin and easy to wear in this kind of climate. But
Yeah.
I've paired it with a Bugessa shirt, which is from their new resort collection, which is my very last purchase until 2025, because I've set myself a challenge
Have you?
not to spend 1 penny on clothes in 2024.
But you can spend it on earrings.
Accessories are not included in that challenge.
Excellent. I actually.
Otherwise, Rumana would be very upset with me. I bought this in December. Actually, Amrita was with me because we were both invited to the resort collection at the end of December.
Yeah.
And so I bought this in 2023, but it only arrived yesterday. But it's
It's really cool. I love the
it's her new resort collection. And I'm super happy that the very last thing that I will have bought until 2025 is supporting a local designer.
Yeah, we are such
This,
fans of
this
her.
really makes me happy.
I actually had my shoes laid out in my hotel room. I was like, oh, I'm a bit embarrassed.
No, I'm
Some of the
everything-
shoes. And then I
everything
put my
about
Zara
her.
jeans on, and I was like,
I bought some denim from her as well. She has the best denim jeans.
I was going to wear a Bugessa skirt today.
I was going to wear because
I love.
Were you?
I love. Her
There we
brand.
go.
I love her brand so much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
She's also like the nicest person.
Her brand is very cool.
But I decided not to include jewelry in that. So I am at the moment. I am including shoes and bags. So it's clothes, shoes, and bags. So the idea is I'm going to shop my own wardrobe or only buy vintage. That's the deal. So
Key is planning.
no new.
Would you rent?
No, I wouldn't. I
But
don't
I
see
think
myself as a
the key is
renter.
planning
I have
and
too much
going,
stuff. I'm just going to shop my own clothes.
going in there and
Rediscover things.
looking for a piece you love,
Yeah.
and working out
Yeah.
you haven't worn for 3 years, and then going, how am I going to make that relevant now and what with? I think is actually really fun, isn't it?
It is. It's super fun.
Brand suit is a perfect example because I've probably had this 10 years. It's probably it was probably one of the very first things he designed, probably from one of his first collections.
Love it, love it. Ladies, for people listening that don't know you, can you give us a bit of background? Where are you from, first of all, Rumana?
I'm Indian. So I'm from the south of India, from Bangalore. Bangalore and Bangalore. But my parents moved here. My dad's actually celebrating his 50th year, or he did already. He's planning to write a book about his time in Dubai, which is quite sweet. He is under the illusion that I'm going to write it for him, or that he's going to have it done in a month. And I was like, no, that's not quite how it works. But yeah, they've been here for a very long time. My mom for 44 years.
And what brought you to Dubai?
I didn't have a choice. My parents did. I was born here. I just turned 37. So I was born in Dubai. I moved to London. Moved back to Dubai. I go to London very often, back and forth. We met each other recently. I'll be in London in a few weeks as well. But Dubai is very much home. But I don't know. I feel like, you know the term third culture kids?
I don't.
So
Tell me.
It's about people who kind of have a third culture where you don't necessarily identify with one place in particular. And I think it's quite an interesting concept, and I've been expanding on that in the past few years in conversations with friends. But essentially, I'm Indian. But when I go to India, I don't feel like I necessarily belong.
Yeah.
I'm from Dubai, and I very strongly associate with Dubai, but I'm not Emirati. Then I go to London, and London is where I moved when I was 18. It's where I really became who I am today. And I feel it in my bones when I'm in London. I love the city so much, but I'm not English.
Yeah.
And I feel
But I guess Dubai and London are both such international cities, aren't they? I mean, there's 11% Emiratis in Dubai.
Yeah.
So you've picked the right place to...
I mean,
When I moved
feel
here
really
20 years
blessed.
ago, it was 2%, by the way. 2% Emiratis made up.
And now it's grown to...
Yeah.
That's
Was it
interesting.
2%?
Yeah, it was 2%.
So it was always like 9 to 10%.
No, it was very, very small. 2-3%, I think, in 2003.
Wow.
Yeah, it was
It's
very
crazy.
Give us a quick sort of elevator pitch of what you did. So you were in London at 18, you studied there.
I went to law school.
Yeah. Which
I'm
I
a
know.
lawyer.
Yeah, you're a lawyer.
I'm a lawyer.
Turned fashion entrepreneur.
Turned very stressed out fashion entrepreneur.
Yeah. And so you studied in London. You ended up back here.
I ended up back here. The plan was never to live here for very long. I was always going to move to London after a year, or New York. And then you know how it goes. A year turned into 2, turned into 3, ended up getting married. And then I feel like right now Dubai is such a great place to be. And
It just keeps getting better.
it just keeps getting better since the pandemic. It's the first time in my entire life I have felt like, okay, I'm actually quite happy to have my roots here for the next few years. Whereas I'm always on a plane. I'm always traveling, and just being in Dubai, there's so much going on.
That's what Caroline Labouchere said. I saw her last night.
She's great.
She's great. She's such a character. She's English. She's in her 50s, I think in her late 50s, and she's freaking hot, and she is living her best life.
Yeah.
And actually, her energy is really inspiring. Like, if you want to feel like, you know, age is a number, she is there to prove that. And
I mean, she's phenomenal.
and she was saying, I said, have you really noticed a change? I said, have you noticed a huge change? And she said, I have, but I've grown with Dubai, and it just gets better and better. And my husband and I were here with our family at New Year, and we were sitting down, and he was, I'm going to be really honest, he was always a bit like, Dubai's not for me. He'd not been here at this time. He came twice last year with me to discover it. And he said, I'm just falling for this place like you are. And I love this sort of joint energy.
Yeah.
And this, what unites everybody being sort of ambition, and everyone is here to live their best lives and to go for it.
Ever since I've been here in 2003, there has always been agents of change within the community, and these third culture kids that were born and raised here, might not be Emirati, but you know, they might be Egyptian or Jordanian or some form of pan-Arab, you know, third culture kid, or Indian from the subcontinent. They go somewhere within the
Around the
GCC, around the region. And they go away, they go and study, and then they come back and they launch their businesses, and then they bring more people.
And they're bringing,
This is what someone was saying to me. They said there's this generation of people that are going internationally, and they're bringing all those learnings back, and they're now creating this whole world of business.
Yeah.
You know, Dubai is not just fast cars and
But
glamour.
the problem is the media have been, the mass media has been, I think, responsible for this really terrible, nasty
horrible,
misconception about Dubai being a one-dimensional city that's, you know, built on
you know what I find
subcontinent
interesting
labourers,
about that,
and
though? What I
is
find
so much
interesting
more.
is there is so
We need
much
to change that.
self-righteousness
We need
in
to
these
show.
articles.
Yeah, I know.
And what frustrates me, I read this article a few years ago, many years ago, maybe about 8 or 9 years ago. It was a journal from, I want to say, the New York Times. I might be wrong, but I think it was the New York Times. And you might remember this. This journalist came into Dubai. He was here for, I think, 12 hours. Basically, what this guy did, he came with his wife, and he was completely just, you know, tore Dubai to bits. And he was like, you know, there's no real air in the city. I took the train. I went to Burj Khalifa, went to the top. Then I went to Dubai Mall, didn't hear the azan, which is a call to prayer. And then I went to the airport, and it's this commercial place. It's got no culture. It shouldn't be called an Arab country, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There was an Emirati girl, I think, doing her master's or a PhD at Manchester University, who drafted the most incredible response to him. And so did Sultan
Qasimi?
Sultan Qasimi. And they basically said, first of all, when you're looking for culture, what is your definition? Why do you get to define what our culture is? Because a culture in an Arab world, you're looking at it from a very Orientalist perspective that do we have to have souks with spices and bazaars and these kind of things? We have our own independent culture and it is so unique. And the second thing is, you didn't give Dubai a chance. We have the mountains, we have the beach, we have the city, we have the desert. You went to a mall and you went to the Burj Khalifa and then you're complaining about only being inside. Well, why didn't you step out? Why didn't you go to our mosques and
I actually
museums?
came here. My father lived here for 7 years. So he lived in Hong Kong for over a decade when I was a child. And I actually, when Emirates started, I used to fly to Hong Kong as an unaccompanied minor, and I'd get off the plane in the old Dubai airport. They had a shop selling pirated tapes and CDs and DVDs. And it was not like this. But I never went out. And then he lived here for 7 years and just commuted back. And my stepmother always used to say to other people, she's very savvy, she used to say, don't overthink it. Take Dubai for what it is. Embrace it. It's fairly new and it's changing and it's actually brilliant. And it was sort of simple, but so true. And this was her talking 15 years ago. And I came here with my husband for my first show. This is now my 7th, but I came here the first time and went out of the airport in April, and I was blown away by the culture.
Yeah.
And not just the stuff to do, by the culture and the people and the warmth. And I think you're right, it is such a misconception.
It's a misconception, and there's
And
so
it's
many
got
Dubais.
wonderful energy.
2 weeks ago, I was kayaking through mangroves in Ajman, seeing, flamingos and the most incredible bird life. And it's 37 minutes from my house on a Saturday morning.
We went to Sonara
through the mangroves. and
Sonara
it's
is beautiful. I had my birthday there a few years ago.
I mean, I took my children into the Jews.
We regularly hike with our
that's brilliant.
dogs in the mountains. We're in Wadi Shauka all the time. We drive to Oman, which is just a few hours away. I mean, it's not the
There's so
life
much
that
to
you
do.
think that it is when you read the media. And it's not just the place that is misconstrued, it's the people.
Yeah.
There is such a huge misconception, and we see it more so now with what's happening in Gaza than ever before, because it's so stark to everyone in the world now that people really do not understand this region. They don't get it. They don't understand
That
it.
is why I am so truly so excited to be here, and not just bring our sort of model to the region, but also to connect the regions, because I'm just blown away by the people I've met and the energy, and as you said, that so many people here, London is part of their lives, and actually we don't see enough in the media. Anyway, we digress. You came here, you were a lawyer, and fast forward, you opened the edit in
2018. I've lost track. It's been 6 years.
It's been
2018.
Let's come back to sort of that point.
Yeah.
Ruth, you've been here 21 years. I mean,
almost.
Sam Safavi, who was in Our Leading Ladies, you must have come at a similar time.
I guess, yeah.
Have you seen the video on YouTube of Dubai?
Like a time lapse.
I've seen,
there are
over
many.
the years we've seen many.
So many.
It's wild. The buildings.
Yeah.
Going up. My father said he came back to see some friends, and they went for a drink, and he said, they were in a really lovely hotel on the water, and he said, didn't you used to live around here? And they went, yeah, we used to live under here. And now we're in this huge hotel, and we moved into the hills. And
Crazy.
When I was in school,
I'm quite a strange expat, though. I've lived in the same house the entire time.
Have you
have
really?
you?
Yeah.
Do you own your house here?
No, we don't, because we live right in the middle of Jumeirah.
Yeah.
So you can't own property in that area.
Right.
But you wouldn't know it
now.
to come and, I mean,
The houses in
I have
Jumeirah
a
are just the
huge
most
vegetable
beautiful.
garden and
I imagine-
4 dogs, 2 cats, 4
I imagine
tortoises.
it's an eclectic
It's a
joy.
bit bonkers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit bonkers, my house.
I'm sure it's
It's home to everyone.
heaven. Have you seen Nadine Cano's house?
It's a little bit similar in terms of all the vintage
I
furniture.
knew you were going to say that. I had a hunch.
colour and
I had a hunch. And so, 21 years ago, wow.
Yeah, I came out to be an editor on Emirates Woman magazine, which was the very first English
Title.
It was actually the first magazine here, really.
Yeah.
Probably coming up for 55 years old now, I guess.
55.
Something like this. Yeah, maybe a bit younger, but yeah, it was the first English title in the Gulf. I have some of the vintage publications from back then, actually, from the very first.
Love that.
So I came out to be an editor on Emirates Woman, and I did that for a few years. And then I launched a magazine for Motivate called Society Dubai Magazine. So I had some great people, great columnists from around the region writing for us. And I guess it was a bit like an ES magazine.
Right.
So you'd have to really be from Dubai and understand Dubai to understand the magazine. So it's quite irreverent, a little bit sort of highbrow, satirical publication. And like Dipesh Chopra was a columnist, for example. We had some great writers, Fatima Gobash, some brilliant columnists back then, real Dubai names. And then I was headhunted by Louis Vuitton. So they were setting up their office here, and I was headhunted to be the first communications director for the region for LV. So yeah, I did that for 7 years before setting up my own agency,
Which is Ruth Bradley.
Consulting. Not Ruth Bradshaw, but I might change it. I'm thinking, that's got a nice ring to it. My dad might get upset though, he never had sons. So,
It's been hugely successful. Your reputation precedes you. So,
I've been in AlSerkal now coming up for 3 years. It was always my dream to be in there. It's very difficult to get into AlSerkal.
Yeah.
So I think once you're in,
You've got
just protect it
It's like
with
a
your
very
life.
exclusive members hub.
You've got a very beautiful showroom. You've got some incredible clients.
Yeah, I love the space. I'm glad you like the space. We wanted it to be very welcoming
Yeah,
and
very nice
warm
concrete
and inviting. Thank you. That floor was a nightmare.
Oh, I hate it.
I saw your stories about it.
Oh my God, don't. Yeah, that's the second time we've moved out in less than a year to redo the floor.
Wow. And just for people listening, what do you do? You have stunning clients. I mean, Alice Template being one of them.
Yeah.
What is
So
the role of Ruth Bradley?
I think the best way to sum up what we do, because we work across so many different demographics and branding, is really we're storytellers. We're there to tell your story within the Middle East, and I think that's the best way to sum up what we do, because we work across arts, culture, entertainment. There's so many. We're working with artists like El Cid, Lorenzo Quinn, the son of Anthony Quinn, represented by Layla Heller. We represent AlSerkal itself, for example. So we're doing.
So you're
lots of
PR and
amazing
comms for them.
Yeah, lots of amazing things within the art world itself, but I would say it's more about reaching communities, because we want to sort of educate the masses really on how many incredible things are happening within this region.
So you operate
not just Dubai.
internationally.
We operate internationally. We operate within the region. So we do a lot in Saudi and Qatar. We're doing a lot more in Kuwait now. I mean, since the pandemic, obviously, Kuwait is becoming a little bit more of an exciting epicenter for luxury again, which is really exciting for them as a country.
And I presume that's a very local market.
Yes. So Doha, for example, Qatar. Qatar, Kuwait, very, very localized markets. So you would find that most of the media for the region is actually based in Dubai since COVID, because they closed down a lot of their offices throughout the region. Lebanon used to have an absolutely thriving media scene. It was incredible.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, after, not just COVID, but the economy crash and then the explosion, media has all but pretty much finished there. There's a couple hanging on, a couple of independents, but mainly everything now is really focused in Dubai. All your media is here for the region. So that's what makes it such an exciting city to base yourself in if you're doing, work within the Middle East region as a whole. And that's why so many brands are coming here and so many more people are coming here now, in fact.
And what's your view on Saudi? How are they part of the mix? Because they're building their own infrastructure, aren't they?
Well, I actually first went to Saudi in 2019, just after it was really liberalized by incredible women, including Princess Rima Bandar Al Saud, who was very, very central to the changes in the country. And even just going, I was there a couple of weeks ago to shoot a campaign as well for one of our clients in Al Ula, and I think that you really see a marked difference now between how open it is as a society, how beautiful Saudi is. I mean, it's just so undiscovered.
It's so
I'm dying to go to Al Ula.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
I went there. Have you been?
Yes, many
It's
times.
amazing.
I went in 2019 when there was nothing there, actually. So before they built all the hotels, I was there just before COVID hit, in fact. And we were all flown in for Fashion Futures by by Princess Rima. It was amazing.
If you're a British listener and you don't know AlSerkal, spelled ULA, check it out. It's breathtaking.
It's like
sort of edge of the earth.
It's like a Saudi Mars, or like it's kind of like the place in Utah. Right?
But there's also loads of agriculture there because they have the most incredible climates for growing. So they have huge orange groves in AlSerkal, loads of different types. They've just had an orange festival there actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
going back to your business, so PR, comms, and then the showroom as well.
Yeah, we operate a fully fledged showroom, so brands can put their collections there. So we're really a destination space because everybody knows AlSerkal. Everybody within arts, culture, media, the creative industries. There's a lot of creative industries within that space itself. So
tell me AlSerkal. Yeah. I've only just got my name around it because Elaine kept saying, "You must go to AlSerkal."
Yeah, that's great.
Is this a road? Is this a something? And then I arrived first time when we were filming Nadine Cano's Leading Ladies episodes, and I was like, where are we? It's a sort of industrial estate. And then I was like, this is quite cool. And it was, the Odd Piece and the Gepard and your store.
I think there's around 100 warehouses, maybe.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, between 80 and 100 warehouses.
I've now been a few times.
It's big.
It's a really interesting space.
It's a big space.
But, you know, AlSerkal
It's not what you
started
would
off.
think in Dubai, though.
It isn't. It's very different to what you expect.
It's the first place we took some of our team who came out this trip. I think they were like, oh, this is not what I was expecting.
So the beauty of AlSerkal is that it's not contrived in any way, shape or form.
Exactly.
This is an absolutely organically grown community that has happened over the last 15 years, all completely naturally grown.
So a lot of them homegrown.
Yeah. So if you compare it to another, similar entity, because a lot of people do compare entities in Dubai. So if you're going to compare it to DIFC or ICD
D3
or D, a lot of people compare it to D3.
It's very
you
different.
cannot just build things and then that's it. Your job is done. AlSerkal has been built just
like from the inside out.
Beautifully from the inside out over many years.
They started off as it was mainly only art galleries. So 15 years ago, it was just art galleries and like a couple of warehouses for maybe it's like slightly more industrial things. And then I feel maybe over the past 4 or 5 years, I'm going into my 4th year now at AlSerkal. When I moved in during the pandemic, I was, I think at that point, the only place that did a concept of sorts, like women's wear clothes. And that's also around the time when they started bringing in all these really interesting concepts. Ruth moved in. We've got
a clever move for you.
Oh, what a great move.
Well,
I'm so happy
it makes perfect sense to you. But how clever that the edit is there and you're in prime position.
It makes so much sense because for the edit, I used to be in Jumeirah on Al Wasl Road, which is also a beautiful area, but it's, it was a standalone villa. So really to drive traffic, it's difficult because you're by yourself. There's no community over there. Over the pandemic, I spoke to AlSerkal and they're like, we were wondering why didn't you move in here to begin with? And I had this vision of having like a villa. I wanted women to walk in and feel like they were at home. Did that in Jumeirah, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for AlSerkal now. For me, I would never move into a mall. It was always about being in a very independent, curated space.
Yeah, I mean, you don't belong in a mall.
No, it's perfect. And are the people who come into AlSerkal, because we work around sustainable brands and empowerment so much, I don't need to educate them about it. They're already very in the know. So it's like a community of people. So depending on whether you're...
It's a giant family, actually.
It's a giant family.
Yeah.
Coming in for art.
You mentioned Le Guépard. At Christmas, this is such a random story, but I needed some ramekins because I had 18 people coming for Christmas lunch. And I just called up Sarah.
She's amazing.
And I was like, okay, I need some ramekins because I'm making individual bread and butter puddings. And she lent me 18 ramekins. And then she actually lent me tables because she had loads of tables. So I did this beautiful long table in my vegetable garden.
So if anybody needs to rent anything
I probably
else,
shouldn't advertise that.
please reach out to Sarah.
Can
I say
it is a family? It's a family.
Yeah.
Can I say
Call upon anyone within that community?
I'm going to have to work really, really hard to get you to like me so they let me in. Good chance. Can you put in a good word, Lee?
We can move a bed into the edit.
Yeah.
Can we have a note for the Gepard though? Because I mean, this is a place. So we had if you've watched our Leading Ladies, if you haven't, then please do. The Nadine Cano episode, it's where we go for lunch. And what I loved about it so much was the Fornasetti wallpaper with a ceramic life-size leopard.
Yeah, we've done
sitting
many
next
events.
to you.
We've done many events there for our
It's
clients.
a great event
space.
But also
Yeah.
she has
Mega.
these great little vintage and pre-loved pop-ups. So she kind of
Yeah.
does a whole bunch of things too.
The
And I
Secret
feel like
was
in
was doing a
AlSerkal,
pop-up,
like
wasn't it?
She's great.
everyone's kind of doing like, it's not the norm. Everyone's kind of doing these unique things and bringing together craft and
Yeah, it's really creative,
Yeah.
isn't it, as a space? You can
Yeah.
you feel
you
feel the energy. Do you feel the good energy?
You
There's
feel the
so
energy.
much good energy in there.
percent.
Yeah.
Can we talk a little bit about starting a business in Dubai? I have been going through. I've done my visa this week and my medical, my biometrics.
Oh, you're one of us now.
I'm waiting for my Emirates ID card. To
I
come
feel like
through.
you're going to move here.
Anytime my children badly behave, I'm going to be like, right, I'm going. And I am off. And I don't have to come back out. I wouldn't say it's easy to set up a business here. It's kind of a process, rightly so. But it's very doable. And I guess as Dubai evolves...
I'm going to challenge you on that because
Okay.
I found it incredibly easy.
Okay, so I'm...
But I'm gonna add an addendum.
Okay. There's process, but they want people, basically, because Dubai thrives on footfall and people and
Yeah.
growing. I was so nervous to sort of... Someone's going to think I'm rocking up as this white English girl and who does she... And it's just been so the opposite.
Yeah, it's
People
very
have been
welcoming.
So welcoming.
Look, I
the
think
red tape
the
is,
easy
is a
part,
bit of
the
a
red
challenge.
tape. Okay, so
That's
the
what I
red
meant.
tape part,
Yeah.
the bureaucracy part, the red tape part. Sometimes, yeah, they don't make it so simple. This is true, but I found it very, very easy to establish my business. I had never ever pegged myself as a business owner. I'd always worked for other people. I never thought that I would ever have my own company. It wasn't like it was a dream or something that I yearned to have, or that seed was planted for me by a particular person while I was still working in Louis Vuitton, and I'll tell you about that later. But the one thing that made it very simple for me, and I would love to know your thoughts on this, also having set up your own company here, is just ask for help.
Yeah.
There are so many people
Yeah.
with so much advice, and all you've got to do is ask. Do a shout out. This is
That's
how
the beauty of
solid.
expats, though, isn't it? My father
Not
lives
even
in Hong Kong.
expats. I mean, no, not
It's
even
everyone,
expats.
yeah.
It's everyone.
It's everyone.
Ask for help.
I guess you're all excited to see the region grow.
Do you know
as
what
you
it
said,
is?
keep-
It is easy in terms of it's quick once you get the ball rolling. So
and with the right help, I think.
with the right help, once you understand, like how to go about it or navigate it,
Yeah.
people are so helpful here. And then, everything went by very smoothly. So Dubai, I think, and this was 7
And where'd
years
you
ago.
go? Where would you go now? I mean, I found a PRO via someone.
Yes, I did everything with a PRO. Honestly speaking, I listened to people. I said, how do I do this? What's the easiest way for me
Yeah,
to do this?
yeah.
I wanted to be part of a mainland company. I didn't want to be in a free zone.
Yeah, same.
because I wanted to be DED. I wanted to give back to the community after so many years of being here. I didn't want to be a free zone company. So for me, that was the first thing. I wanted to be DED. I didn't want to be free zone. And at
What
the
does DED
time,
stand for?
DED is Department of Economy of Dubai, and which falls under Dubai
We have
tourism.
free
now.
zones in Dubai, so there are different jurisdictions
Yeah.
within Dubai. And then the free zones, historically, you could own it without any,
Without needing a local partner.
without needing a local partner.
Which has
DED
actually
you
changed
would need
anyway,
to,
you
but
don't
it's
need that
changed
now,
to
do
DED.
you?
I was a service industry anyway, so I didn't need a local partner. I needed a local service agent, someone to
I see.
sign paperwork,
Got you.
which you don't need to do. Now I'm fully 100% my own, but I was very lucky. I had
must
the
feel
wonderful Fatima Gobash was my first partner. Having the right PRO is really important. But back then, there had been a ban put on any PR companies being registered under DED because they were trying to clean the market of dodgy PR companies, I guess. So I had Wasta that helped me become registered.
And
need
can
to
I-
get
That's what I
around.
meant by that.
Yeah.
Can Wasta be a PRO?
No.
So
Wasta is a person.
it's an influential person.
Yeah. It just needs to be somebody that can get
Can help
something
you
done.
get shit done.
Look,
Yeah,
Dubai is a city, and I would say even tomorrow, to an extent, the UAE is a country where anything is possible.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yeah.
Anything is possible. Anything at all. You want to meet someone, you can meet them. You want to do something, you can do it. You want to be a TV presenter
And
tomorrow,
I
you can
say,
become one.
This
This is where dreams are made.
This is real. Like, that is real.
Yeah.
And That is what, and I know our Middle East audience that we're growing will be listening to this, but I also know our UK audience will be listening to this, and an international audience that finds this on YouTube, and that is it. It is, you can make it happen, you can make it.
But the thing is, a lot of expats come here and they don't become a part of the community. They don't, or they become part of a very tight little bubble. Let's call it stereotypical expat community.
Dubai, I see it as like a person. Dubai is like a living, breathing person who probably started off, in infancy, getting to grips with growing up, and then going through maybe a bit of a rebellious stage where we weren't attracting the right crowd of people. And I feel like now, since the pandemic, Dubai is a very confident 30 or 40-year-old woman who is very settled in who she is, but is also expanding and growing and becoming more open and accepting. So it's a place that's constantly developing and growing and learning.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the red tape, and that does exist, probably will always exist in setting up anything, anywhere.
And so it should everywhere, but otherwise you get every wave from the
straight. But if you have a problem, and WPS is an example. In the early days, I didn't know what WPS was, and I was
what's
like,
WPS?
It stands for Wage Protection System, and it's scheme or system.
Right, so
but you need it. It's linked in the bank system to their labour card.
Right.
So that whatever contract you've got your staff on matches what it is that they're being paid, and it's to protect staff and to make sure they get paid, actually. But I didn't know what this was. So in the early days, I think we got a ban on visas or something, and I was like, why? And the PRO said, because you're not doing them through WPS. And I was in this building at the time, and I'd become friends with a really lovely British Pakistani guy downstairs that ran an IT company. And I just happened to mention it in Tom and Serge over coffee. I don't know anything about WPS. And he helped me through the whole thing. So that's what I'm saying. When you have a good community of people around you, anything can be fixed.
I do think, though, Dubai is largely expats. It might be 11% now, but actually, as I mentioned earlier, my father lived in Hong Kong when I was a child, and that is the magic also of being an expat, is that people come in and you welcome them with open arms. It's also part of the culture here.
Yeah.
I do think it's also part of being an expat. And
so the expat community is not 11%. The expat
huge.
community is 89%.
Emirati.
Yeah, the Emiratis.
Yeah. And out of that 89%, subcontinent is probably at least 70 of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ladies, can we have I'm aware of, you got to go and hang out with a special person.
Cry a little bit.
Crying in.
Yeah.
Before we finish,
Sufficient.
some words of wisdom as two brilliantly successful, respected women in the city. Any words of wisdom, advice to other people, other entrepreneurs, budding entrepreneurs?
I would say do it. There's nothing better than running your own company and being your own boss. And if you think that, like, I'm doing it in a country that's not even mine, I mean, I feel very much adopted by the UAE. I feel this is my home. I've been here such a long time. And I think that the two biggest pieces of advice that I would give to anybody wanting to do this, especially if you're an expat, is really open up your community, because you need to have a community. If you don't know what it is, you need to know what it is.
That's such good advice.
You can't not be a community-minded person.
Yeah.
And the second would be ask advice. Ask for help all the time to anyone, because people really do genuinely want to give it.
I think that. I often say that. I think you'd be amazed how many people who've been there themselves and had it give it back. And if you don't ask, you don't get.
And I think if you're in Dubai, I guess the advice that I would give, my advice in Dubai would be very different to my advice to a woman anywhere else in the world. But Dubai is we're so keen and so eager for new innovation, for things that are happening. And there's so much women empowerment over here. Like, we love seeing women thrive. So if there's something that you're thinking about doing, do it. I mean, obviously do your due diligence, make sure it's a business model that actually works. But if you really believe in it, ask for help, ask for advice, and go ahead and do it, because Dubai is so receptive to things that are new and novel and innovative.
But you also need to know your audience.
You need to know your audience.
So many people just don't know their audience. And that's their first mistake, I think.
Ladies, thank you. Girls around the world, I mean, nowhere more so than in the GCC, I would say. I'm seeing it more and more. It's really freaking cool.
Yeah.
That's really
As are you two.
We're very happy to have you here.
Thank you.
It's very exciting.
I appreciate that and your time and your brilliant energy. Thank you so much for listening. That's it for today. If you enjoyed that, then please do tell your friends to listen too. We will be back soon. Thanks very much. Bye-bye.